What's going on, guys? So I am on my way to Sames Ford here in Corpus Christi, Texas. That is my go-to dealership for getting anything done to the truck that I need to get done by a dealership, at least, especially if it's something under warranty. I had a couple recalls done last time I brought the truck in. I believe one of them was a recall that I really didn't have to rush too much to get done, and that was the engine block heater cord. They had an issue where I guess the shielding around the cord or the way it was attached, if it got wet, it could cause some issues or something along those lines. I really don't know specifically what the problem was, but I dragged my feet on that as long as possible simply because the main problem occurred whenever you were in really cold climates, freezing climates, and we don't get a lot of that here, so I don't think I had to worry about that issue. I think it would trigger, like it would pop your GFCI on your outlet because it would short out, something like that, whenever you use it. And because I never use it, I really didn't care. Anyways, that was one of the recalls I got done. Another recall I got done had to do something with the floor mat. They had to trim something or do something along the floor mat, but again, something I really didn't care about because it wasn't affecting me. And then the final one was the tailgate. Apparently there was something with the harness on the tailgate that can cause the tailgate to pop on its own and drop down unintentionally. So I've never had that happen, even though I've occasionally pressed the button on the remote in my pocket and I've dropped the tailgate, but nothing like that. Today's visit is a little bit different, and it's one that I've already taken my truck to the shop for, but it's one that I want to share with you all because I don't think it's a repair that Ford has properly addressed. Now, all truck manufacturers have something that can go wrong with their truck, but this has really been one of two issues that I've had with my truck. Not a big deal, but it's definitely something worth talking about. So hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so the issue that I am having right now, again, is one that I've already taken the truck to the dealership to get fixed, and that is the cameras. So my side view cameras, which hang off the bottom of the mirrors, are working perfectly. They're perfectly clear. Unfortunately, though, my front camera and my rear camera are super hazy, and they appear to have condensation built up inside of them, which is interesting because you would think that those would be two of the most sealed cameras on the truck since they're more likely to be exposed to moisture. But I brought the truck in about a year and a half ago and had both cameras replaced under warranty. They really don't question you or anything. They just pretty much take a look at the camera. They can tell if there's kind of a hazy ring around the outside of the lens, which is interesting because it's not actually on the center portion of the lens. And if you look at the camera dead on, the camera looks like it's fine. However, the problem is that moisture builds up around the perimeter and it essentially causes a glare onto the camera, which makes it very blurry, very hard to see, and very faded out. So already had them replaced. I'm going to have them replaced again. I already called and scheduled this repair. So I'm going to bring the truck in. I think last time it took about 2.5 hours for them to fix it. So it's not a really long repair. And if they give me the part, I'd do it myself, and I'd kind of walk you all through the process of doing it, even though I think somebody's made a video on it before already. Anyways, guys, that is why I am going to Sames Ford today. Now, the second issue that I told you I've been dealing with is one that happens randomly, and I really don't understand why it happens. It has never caused me any type of a breakdown or a potential issue where I'm stranded, but my traction control seems to disable sometimes on its own. And I all of a sudden just get a traction control disabled light that comes on my dash, and the system apparently stops working. The only way I can turn it back on is if I stop the truck, turn it off, restart the truck, and continue on my way. And usually it won't come on for another 2 months, but it does come on occasionally. And it's the system that controls my advanced track, which is kind of the way the truck deals with sway from a computer perspective, as well as, again, my traction control system. And I'm not exactly sure what the problem could be. But we are just getting here to Sames Ford. I'll mention it to him. I've never brought it up to him before, simply because it wasn't that big of a deal to me. I am pulling into the dealership. I'm going to drop the truck off and see if they can fix all my problems. And I'm just being honest with you guys. I know half of the Ford naysayers are going to come out commenting fix or repair daily or found on road dead, all these different things, even though I really doubt having a blurry backup camera and a air light that comes on, hardly something that's going to restrict my truck from functioning. But again, I just wanted to be open and transparent with you all of issues that I've had with the truck. And aside from those two issues, I think I had to replace the batteries in the truck. That was one that I had done about a year and a half ago too. Other than that though, the truck's been really good. Okay, so here is the camera view. I don't know if you can tell that the camera looks really bleached out. And from this picture, you can kind of see the difference between the rear camera and the side cameras. The side cameras are completely clear, whereas the rear camera and the front camera have kind of a washed out look to them. But it's definitely something I want to get addressed. And again, it's simply because condensation somehow gets into the camera. I think whenever I get the truck washed from now on, I'm going to put a piece of blue painter's tape over it to see if that helps prevent that from happening. And you can kind of see what's going on here. See, the center of the lens is clear, but it's that little ring around the outside that causes all the problems. And it's on pretty much all the cameras. This one's a little harder to see, but you can still see kind of that hazy ring around the outer perimeter of the camera. And those should be completely clear. So if you see that ring at all, then you have condensation built up. See it real well on the front camera. The front camera's got a ton of it going around the perimeter. And again, it's not the center of the camera, it's only kind of the perimeter of the camera. So hopefully they can take care of it. I've tried to do some things on my own to fix it, but unfortunately none of them have worked. I've applied a heat gun to kind of blow some hot air to see if it would kind of burn up the moisture inside. That didn't work, and it appears the only thing you can really do is replace these cameras. And they're about $320 to $330 a piece. So since I'm under warranty still, I figure I'll just bring it here and let them do it. Other than that though, the truck has actually performed really well. I haven't really had any issues. Again, except the advanced track. For some reason I get a light that comes on occasionally. I want to bring that up to them real quick. Anyways guys, we'll catch you whenever all the work's done. Well, I'm waiting for my truck to get finished. You know, every time I'm out at a dealership, I always get drawn to these commercial trucks because I think they're just so cool. This is an F450 XLT package. This would normally be a chassis cab, but they've put a hauler bed on the back of it. Check that out. It is a cool setup. You got a 550 next to it. A lot of people want to know what's the difference between a 450 and a 550. Really, the big differences are the 550 has some extra frame reinforcements that run down the side of the frame, and it's got a few additional leaf springs. But aside from that, they're pretty much the same truck. Front suspension might be a little bit stiffer on a 550 versus the 450 as well. Something that distinguishes a higher trim package from the lower trim is the fact that the commercial trucks right here have this black non-finished front fender for the wide track. Now, what's interesting is if you look at my truck from a 450 perspective, and it's probably better to look at this 450 since we're talking about it, my truck shares the same frame as this truck all the way through the back right here. And that's where it transitions into a straight frame going all the way back that's a little bit narrower than what you would see on a pickup truck. And the reason they do that is because this specific truck, as well as any chassis cab, is really set up to use upfitter bodies like this, where you can put some type of a vocational body on the back of the truck, and those vocational bodies are set up to mount on trucks with a certain width of frame rails. And most of your commercial trucks share that same width simply because, you know, a manufacturer like this doesn't want to have to make a different one for every type of truck that's out there. And this specific one will fit on any of those trucks. Likely the company that bought these trucks had these beds swapped from another truck and put on these trucks. And that's just the perfect example of why you want those standardized rails, because they could have had Ram trucks, they might have had GMC trucks or Chevy trucks, and having those common rails coming down the back that are the same width gives them the ability to mount these on pretty much any truck they need. Okay, so I just picked up the truck, and as you can see, the camera is no longer fogged up. They replaced the rear camera. Next time I come back, they say they'll replace the other 3 cameras because they also looked like they were getting hazy. The other 3 being the 2 side and the front camera. but looks a lot better. Let's take a look at the inside. Okay, now we're inside. You can see how much clearer the camera is. Definitely looks a lot better. And I don't really think I need to replace the side cameras. Even though they're hazier on the outside, the picture is still really clear compared to what the back camera looked like. Overall though, I think it's looking pretty good. Now, I have a few other camera angles here I can look at. That's the camera I have in the bed of the truck. The side view camera looking down the sides also looks really clear, and these are the two cameras on the mirrors, so I don't really think I need to replace those. And the rear high mount center camera also looks pretty good still. Anyways guys, this was something that was relatively quick. It only takes them about 3 hours total if you drop the vehicle off to do. Camera looks entirely better. It is definitely a much clearer image than it used to be. I still have to bring the truck back though to have a sensor replaced. They actually said, I believe it was the steering sensor that was going bad or it was doing something wrong, and it causes a traction control and a hill descent control light to come on occasionally. It doesn't happen all the time, but they're going to order the part so we can get that one replaced as well, and it's all covered under warranty. Anyways guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.